Welcome, one and all, amazing agents from across the country. Today is April 19th, 2018, and this is Mastermind call number 173. Amazing that we've done that many calls. And if you ever have a weekend and you want to binge listen to our calls, they're all recorded. So that would be an entertaining way to spend your weekend. I don't have anything to share other than we're all getting ready to get together the first week of May and have our quarterly meeting, you know, the owners and a lot of our employees and support people. So as always, if you have anything pressing that you would like for us to address, Chad, I'm assuming you'll probably send out another survey ahead of time, but please respond. Let us know what's on your plate, how we can make this whole system better for you. And that's how we learn and that's how we keep improving. Tim, anything you want to add to or share with the group before we get to the callers?
I have precious little to add this week other than Chad has returned from the boondocks, so probably we'll be able to hear him a good bit better this week, and we're glad he's back, and good things are happening, and, let's just keep on rocking. We're hearing tremendous successes that people are having, and things are going well. The mailing programs are working great. The ISA program is working great, and we're cooking.
Excellent. Chad, what would you like to share? Anything from the training perspective? I know you got another mastery course starting, right?
Yeah, a moving question mark. So I am back. I do have internet. However, I was going to hit Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but now my father is going in for an emergency heart surgery. So I don't know if I'm actually going to get it done next week. It could be the following week. So as much as I hate to say it, you guys, thanks for your patience. I'll let you know when I can get it scheduled. It will be as soon as possible. So a lot of folks have signed up for Mastery, and they're watching the last month's recordings. If you want to do that, then you can watch the recordings, and I'll put you in the next live class as soon as I know that I can be somewhere to do the training.
All right, and best wishes to your dad. I didn't know about that. Sorry to hear that. Tom, anything you want to share with the group?
Just my usual. I just want to make sure everyone knows that we're here to support you. And if you need anything, just send us an email to support@alltheleads.com, or if you're in your account area, under support, there's a contact us. And just, tell us exactly what you're looking for. We track those items and then get the appropriate people to get back to you on a timely basis. That's it for me.
I think our average response time is less than 15 minutes. So and the more specific you are with what you need help with, the quicker you're likely to get the response from the appropriate person. So we have 2 people in the queue. We got room for probably at least 7 or 8 more. We had a record call last week as far as length that went an hour and 15 minutes. And we really, just out of respect for everybody that's here, we really try to keep these calls at an hour. And having said that, we never want to let any question go unanswered. So get in early today, guys. Don't wait until the end. If you have anything you would like to share, successes, challenges, war stories, places you're getting stuck, please just hit *6 and hit 1, and we will take you one at a time. In the meantime, the first person up today, phone number ending in 6001, you're up first.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for taking the call. They're very beneficial. My question is being able to process through the leads. So after you've sent out letters and you want to start calling, the leads, how do you handle it when we're consistently in my market getting 300, 400, 500, probates, and it's time management aspect, and what are some of the best practices?
What are you going to do with all that money? So we've built the CRM to help you be efficient. If you look, when you click into each list will be, your data is contained in the monthly list, and that's what I'll call the list view. So I would recommend working one at a time, like 1 month at a time. So you'll click into the list view, then you click into the lead view, and then under the option status tab, you're going to see a rating system. So you can rate them, follow up, left voicemail, did not reach, whatever the ratings are. And then you also have opt-out buttons. So the idea would be to speak to as many people as possible and use the functions of the CRM. So the next round in the campaign, you have far less work to do. So if you're
Correct.
using that option status tab to rate an opt-out, it will save you time. But as far as like the first round of the campaign, it's list view and then 300 clicks to the contact view and just make the calls, unless you're using a dialer, and then it changes.
Well, I'm using a dialer, but still, one contact, up to four phone numbers, and it's just it's being able to, there's only 24 hours in the day.
Yeah. We get it, man. I mean, that's like Jim said in the beginning. We send out surveys before every quarterly meeting, and then we try to identify choke points and build stuff to help you through those. And that's why our ISA service exists. If you just can't get it done, we've got your back. We could even split your list up and do part of it for you if you want.
Well, I had wanted to be part of the ISA, but in my particular area, there is already an individual who's utilizing it, so I wasn't able to participate.
Yeah, so I mean, the best you can do right now is get it in the dialer and do your dials and do what you can.
Okay.
Unless you want to, if you want to bring on help, but basically our ISAs have been trained off of what we teach you guys. So if you were to turn an employee loose in our role play call archive, they could probably get up to speed fairly quickly.
Okay.
And are you a seasoned prospector? It sounds like you are. Are you making other types of prospecting calls, or is prospecting?
Well, correct.
Relative?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I do a lot of expireds, and I have no problem being on the phone. It's just it's a time management aspect.
Yeah, the reason I was asking, I know Chad has shared with the group, the best times to make the call. There was a MTI study as far as the time you're going to reach the most people, and not to get overly analytical, with 300 leads, you're going to have to spend, quite a few hours. But if you break it into time segments when you have the highest efficiency, that might be somewhat helpful. And Chad, do you know that off the top of your head? You probably do. The best times to actually make the calls?
Yeah, so your best contact rates will be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And you're about 164% more likely to convert during those times, because that's when people typically answer the phone. So if you concentrate your prospecting blocks into those time periods, you may do less chasing on the phone and more actual, having real conversations. That's one way to gain some efficiency.
Okay.
Yeah, the other thing I was going to ask is he? I'm sorry, Bud. I thought you were done.
I was just going to say, so when I was in your position, where I just didn't have enough hours in the day, I drove all of my prospecting into those 3 days and those blocks, and I only went on face-to-face appointments on Mondays and Fridays. And that freaked me and everyone else on my team out. But what ended up happening, it created a sense of respect and urgency. And it became so much easier for me to set appointments, because I'm like, listen, we meet with folks on Friday and Monday. Which works better? Okay, I've got one spot at 3. And it was so easy to set appointments. That was kind of an unexpected benefit of that. And I took a chance after reading the MIT study to see if it would work. And that it gave me a lot of control over my time. So my admin stuff happened between, like, on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, office time, like admin stuff was, 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock. That was kind of the window of the day where we could handle transaction management and everything. And those prospecting blocks where nothing was allowed to go over those. But I found that, like that simple MIT study, it got me on the phone with more people, but it also forced me to be more efficient in the non-prospecting parts of my business by pushing those things into the open blocks.
Other thing I was going to ask is, are you on our wait list for your county? From time to time, we have turnover even in the ISA program, as all businesses do, and you need to make sure that you are on the wait list for that. If you're not,
Yes,
if you'll just let Jim know you are, okay, great. So
yes.
if we have that open in your county, then obviously we can help you with that and get you on the ISA program. That'll help you along.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you. I'm going to reschedule my calling times. Was there any success, with maybe calling on a Saturday or a Sunday?
I think Saturdays are good. I don't have a lot of experience with Sundays because that's a day where some people get offended if they don't. It's a non-business day in this part of the country. But Saturdays, yes, for sure. Like a late morning or early afternoon Saturday call tends to be really effective.
All right, perfect. I'll make some adjustments to my schedule and see how it works out. Thank you.
Yeah, I would second that. When I was an active agent, I used to make 100 contacts a day, and I sort of had a rule. I would try somebody twice. If I didn't get a hold of them twice, I scheduled them for Saturday. And almost always, if I didn't get them during the week, I'd be able to get them on Saturday. Obviously don't call them at 9 a.m., but, from like 10 to or 11 to 4 on Saturdays, I found that to be a really prime time to get a hold of people. And they're either in the middle of something and they'll tell you, or they'll be a lot more relaxed and less, hectic, and they'll be willing to talk to you. So,
correct.
And especially if I was calling on a weekend or a non-normal business time, I used to start the conversation with, did I catch you at a good time? And, because it sort of showed respect for their time. And if they said yes, then I had permission to go ahead and talk to them. If they said no, then, and most of the time they would say yes, they kind of appreciate that you ask them that. They would acknowledge, yeah, it's a good time, go ahead, and then you get into your conversation. So, and please let us know. We've recommended that to a lot of people. Let us know if that works for you, those time blocks.
Perfect. I'll keep track of it, and I'll follow back in a few weeks.
Excellent. Well, guys, we went from an hour and 15-minute call last week to, a 15-minute call. We have one more person in the queue. Come on, more people step up. Hit *6 and hit 1. I'm sure there's other questions, issues. We've got a lot of new subscribers. Nothing is out of bounds. There's no question that we won't field on these calls. So there you go. Thank you. We got another person. Just hit *6 and hit 1. Now we got 4 people. Awesome. All right, next up is phone number ending in 8369. You're up next. Ernest, you're up, sir. Can you hear us? Ernest? Ernest Bevins, going once.
Yes, sir. Can you
No. Yes, sir. You got it on the first call, so you plenty of time. We can hear you great now. Go ahead, Ernest.
Awesome. Hey, listen, thank you all very much for this opportunity. I'm sitting here with my son. As most of y'all know, I totally got into this as by just coincidence, trying to save my face and my reputation with my son, and so that's how we're into this. But in any event, a couple of questions that we're concerned about is that trying to create our own market space in Bear County. Is that possible? And two, I've looked at the videos of all the videos on YouTube, trying to acquaint myself with the program. One of the things that Chad had suggests that you don't scrub the list. However, since I work with vacant properties and absentee properties, I also use the probate list to cross and find those persons, unfortunately, that were deceased that were connected to those properties. My idea is to learn more about the program and to use the process without taking shortcuts. But I'd like to find out what Chad feels about using the list on both those levels. And then the third question that concerns me is that we're not realtors. My son works in he does wholesaling. He does have a team of realtors, title companies, and lawyers that in his network, but we're not realtors.
Excellent. One at a time, Chad.
So,
Question one. Do you remember what it was?
It sounds like you're cross-referencing a vacant list with the probate list and trying to find
Yes, sir.
where the overlap is. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I mean, and is the purpose of that simply to save money by not duplicating marketing effort?
No, it's not. It's not really to save money. It's I'm not working right now, and my budget is kind of short. And here's our philosophy. My son's philosophy is, if the process works, don't reinvent the wheel. So as far as discipline is concerned, he's all about following the process and not deviating. Unfortunately, because I'm so strapped on cash, I was thinking that what I would do is cross the list first, kind of like cherry pick it while working the process on the back end. What's your thought?
So you're basically, that was kind of my concern, is you're going to focus on the ones that are both vacant and inherited. And the vacant property list, and I've done extensive testing on that list. I know where that there's one data feed, and we have access to it. It's about 45% accurate. So there's a 55% chance that that the house is vacant and you don't know it. It's not a perfect system. So the vacant data comes from the Postal Service, and they frankly don't do a very good job managing their data. So my concern is that you're going to put too much faith in the vacant list and using that as a tool to cross-reference with the probate list, and you're going to miss opportunities. I think your best bet is forget the vacant list and just jump on the phones and prospect your probate. And when you see revenue from that, when you get your first deal, then this is a moot point. You can just use the system the way it's designed.
Got it. Thank you. Yeah, like I said, my son is all about the process, and he's been drilling me, Dad, don't deviate. I'm about like, oh, son, you need to make some money, but he's about not deviating. So you've just validated his concern. So then the second question: do we have a lot of competition in our area using this tool?
As an investor, you're going to have competition. You're in Bear, Texas, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Bear County.
It's a competitive state, so you're going to have guys going to the courthouse gathering the data. The reason I suggested you go straight to the phones is because that's going to be your advantage. What we find is we have about 95% accuracy in contacting the personal representatives with the phone numbers we provide you. And very few investors will be able to skip trace with that accuracy. So your immediate edge is going to be getting to them on the phone with that broad offer, that you referenced that you guys have a team of realtors and contractors and other people. So focus on the people and the situation, and then find a way to smoothly segue into real estate, and you'll kick those guys' ass on the phone every time. Like, they're going to be, if they are calling, they're going to be going straight for the real estate conversation, and the whole tone of the conversation is going to be different with you because you're focusing on people and situations. So, yes, you can create market share. Yes, you can own that market. You just have to, and your son is like, I'm proud of him. Like, we've worked really hard for 5 years with thousands of people to figure out what works and what allows you to create market share. So follow what we teach. Get a broad scope of service. Get real proud about it. Have a solution for anything. If they want to sell for top dollar, take it to your realtor. If they need to tear the house down and sell the lot, have a solution for that. Like, whatever it is, just have a solution. Because most of your competition is going to have one offer, and it's going to be 60 to 70 cents on the dollar, or screw you, next. So just don't be that person. It's really easy to compete and gain the market share against those competitors, regardless of how they're getting the data.
Awesome. Chad, I think that covers right now all those questions. Aaron, this is the group. There's Chad, Jim, and Tom. You want to say hi?
Hey there, I've been listening in. Thank y'all for this information and this opportunity, guys. This is pretty phenomenal. It's my first time tying in, and my dad's been telling me about this, and I've been kind of trying to piece the pieces to the puzzle together, but actually hearing what y'all are about and the platform that y'all are creating for us has kind of amped up my enthusiasm. So this is pretty cool, and again, thank y'all for allowing us to tie in.
Thank you for your wonderful comments. If both of you have not done so, watch the fast track videos. It'll take you an hour to 3 hours, depending on how much you drill down into it. But that's the first thing you should do. Have you guys both watched the fast track videos?
I've done the fast track within the first 24 hours.
Okay,
but,
good. All right.
But he hasn't.
No, I haven't yet. I haven't actually.
Okay, good, because that'll really answer 98% of your questions and give you a really good insight into the entire system. And then as soon as you can, take Probate Mastery. But you guys have great attitude and good energy. You're going to do very well with this. So welcome, and thank you for contributing.
Thank you.
All right, we have two more in the queue. Next up is phone number 1189. You're up next.
Okay, how are you all doing? Thanks for taking my call. A couple of quick questions, very, very easy ones. The first one, just the basics. You know, in making the phone calls, quite often you go through your list, and, of course, you're not going to reach everybody the first time. Just in general, how many tries do you give it? Because typically I'll call, and then I actually will leave a voice message, instead of a standardized voicemail, because I use Mojo. I've started to use the nurture dial where I can actually leave a voice message, but I can put the person's name in the voice message. So, they know I'm calling them specifically. So even though I've missed a call, I've left a voice message for them. And, I've gone back to lists as far back as January, and I've contacted these people, numerous times, or at least left messages. How many times? It's not going to be an absolute number, I'm sure. Do you think it's reasonable to keep trying numbers when nobody's actually picking up?
Well, in theory, you should keep trying until you're told that they either don't need your help or they're keeping the property. In theory, I don't know that anyone ever does that because it just takes so much effort. But I think it's important to understand kind of the process that people go through mentally when they're going, or emotionally when they're going through this. So because of my experience with so many come list me calls after 12 to between the 12 and 24 month mark, I'm hesitant to ever suggest that you actually let off the gas, because I know there are a million variables that are keeping these people from returning your phone call right now. And one morning they seem to wake up and just have a breakthrough, and they're like, all right, this ends now. I'm dealing with this. And the person who gets the business is the one who's there in the mailbox or in their inbox, their voicemail box, the most recent. And most people are going to let off the gas after a month or two or three. So the agents that we have that actually keep following up usually get the most business. For example, we had a subscriber who signed up last year at a show, and they unfortunately just didn't accomplish anything in 14 months. When we triggered their campaign, we got him 11 appointments on the first round of campaign. And we were calling 14-month-old data, and we were still able to get 11 listings and a market with a median of $800,000. So he made a truckload of money and helped a ton of families, even though it was old data. So you got to, it's really, you got to kind of use your discretion how long you want to stick with them. But the more follow up you do, the more success you'll have for sure.
Okay. And then the second question is, you mentioned quite often being, customer service or situation centered, rather than leading with trying to get the property. There's a balance between trying to not get bogged down and say, for example, if I'm calling someone, they don't have property, and they need maybe some type of estate sale to sell personal property. That's fine, but I mean, how do you walk the line between not getting really bogged down in services that, if you're really aiming to deal with the property, okay, either through listing or either, buying it as an investment or something focused around the property. How do you keep from getting bogged down in, like, say, estate sales and all the other situations? Or do you not just work, you don't even worry about that? You just, whatever they need, you provide, and you just move on to the next deal?
Yep. I think it's a mindset. So it's a difference between believing that you're getting bogged down and wasting time versus believing that if I help this person, it'll always come back to me in multiples. And that's just how I live my life. Like, I will sit and talk to friends about problems they're having with their kids for 3 hours. And I don't look at that as wasted time in my life, because at some point I'm going to need something from them or someone else. And it always finds its way back. And in business, I've found the same thing. If I spend 20 minutes, I used to do lease options, and I still get tons of calls from that website. And I still do financial coaching to people who I'll never actually meet with. But I'll take the time to sit down and draw out a plan for them and tell them what they need to do, even though I don't have inventory. I don't have those houses anymore. And that comes back to me in just so many different ways. So it's a mindset thing. For me, I always just said I'm committed to focusing on the people and the situation and providing value in any way that I can. And I got come listen to me calls all the time. And I really credit that to that mindset. So I didn't, it wasn't keeping score of stuff I did for other people and how much money I was making. It just always seemed to work for me.
Okay. Yeah, I guess maybe when you're strapped for cash, it's kind of difficult to not think about, okay, I need to get some inventory and I need to, get some money in, basically. And that's
but
kind
the paradox is, Belinda, the paradox is
know.
when you stop thinking about that, the money shows up. And I've proven it to myself over and over in the last few years. It's hard to hear. I get that, because I was in that position too. But it's mindset.
Okay, and then last question. You indicate that, say you get on the phone, you're talking to these people. If you lead with this property fetch or property search, that's kind of a door shut. Can you give an example of leading with service and being more people focused in terms of how you approach your phone call?
I'm sorry, I had 3 people calling me while you were in the beginning of that question. Can you ask again?
Yeah, I was saying that you had indicated that, more than likely if you're on the phone and you're just going directly after the property, that's a closed door. It's going to be a closed door. And you said instead the mindset, the approach should be more about being, service-oriented, people-centered, or situation-centered, helping them to solve their problem. And I was asking, can you kind of give an example of how you lead in to, approaching these people on the phone from a service-oriented perspective?
So, I'm sorry I was distracted there.
That's okay.
I guess for me, I'll give you a visual. Imagine what you're doing here as the hub and a wheel. And that hub, holds all the other pieces together. So part of that is brokerage. Part of that is cash investment. Part of that is estate sale company, moving company, contractor, estate planning, CPAs, all those folks, all these people we teach you to put on a team. When you first initiate a conversation, you don't initiate as a spoke. You initiate as the hub. So we've built a team of professionals here locally that are focused on helping people in your situation, because we understand how stressful that can be. What's been the toughest thing so far? And it's really easy to make real estate the first spoke of the discussion, because statistically, Americans hold 80% of their wealth in their primary residence. So you do kind of a segue. So once they start to tell you their problems, like, okay, well, listen, let me ask, the biggest stress for most families is actually the real estate, because they have to sell it in order to proceed with the rest of, with settling liabilities. Is there any real estate in the estate, and do you guys have a plan for that? So bring it to the forefront by saying, the biggest challenge for most people is real estate. Is that a challenge for you? And then you kind of smoothly transition into that. And there's a reason for bringing it up. The reason is it's usually the biggest and the first thing we need to deal with in order to move forward in your bigger picture, the bigger picture of the overall estate. And it's a whole different transition when you do it that way than if you call and be like, oh, we built a team, and hey, you got any real estate you want to sell? And that's where most people get stuck down.
Okay.
And Belinda, if you precede it with that open-ended question, explain that I put a whole team of people together to help you, and then just, lead with that open-ended question. What's been the hardest part of it for you so far? And they will tell you. And, often, I'm 1,000 miles away and they've got a house full of stuff and, I haven't had a chance to fly down there and go through it. And so you've identified their problem. Now you help them solve it. Lead with the estate sale company. And then obviously once you got that problem solved, then the next question is, so now that we got the house all cleaned out and taken care of, at least mentally, tell me more about the real estate. But just don't make it, there's nothing wrong with mentioning it first, but lead first with how you can help them. Or can you help them? That open-ended question is a really good way to start.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm working on trying to get my script better, so.
Sure.
So that'll help me tweak it. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you. We have 5 more people in the queue. Good job, guys. Phone number ending in 3861. You're up next.
This is Wayne from Texas, and I had a quick question on process. The letter number 1 says, I hope you understand that you don't have to wait until probate closes to sell the property. I'm getting a little conflicting information with an attorney I was speaking to last week who said that, the executor or the executrix can't sign a listing agreement until the court awards them the authority to act on behalf of the deceased to do that.
True. So that letter was written from Florida, where Jim is, and the laws are similar to your state. In any state, they can't sign the listing agreement until they've been appointed in the initial hearing, which is correct. What the impression most PRs have is that they can't do anything until the attorney says so. So what we find 90+% of the time, by the time they respond to our marketing, they have gone through the initial hearing and they have been appointed as the personal representative. I can think of only 2 occasions in the last 4 years where someone has come back and said otherwise. So in most cases, when they're reading that letter, they will officially be the representative of the estate, and they can move forward. But the intent of that sentence is to let them know that they can go ahead and list the property, even if it has to be approved by a court to actually title transfer. They can still get it on the market, get it listed under contract, and make the process more efficient. And it seems to be common in all states where attorneys basically tell them not to do anything, which in my opinion usually isn't in their best interest, but it's because it gets them off their back. They don't have to deal with a realtor with commission breath trying to figure out when this is going to get, when it's going to court and when they're going to get their paycheck, and a buyer's agent who's aggravating a seller's agent, and the seller's agent aggravating the attorney. I think that's probably the root of why the attorneys do that. What we find is when an attorney really understands, with our customers, when an attorney understands what they're doing, it's a much different relationship. They actually send you referrals because they know they're not babysitting you. So good practice is once you've spoken to a personal representative, jump on the phone and call their attorney and say, hey, I just spoke to John Doe, and I just wanted to make sure that I'm complimenting what you're doing and not making your life harder. Is there anything specific you would want to see in the listing agreement or the MLS remarks before I upload? And show them that you're being proactive and you're aware of your position and theirs, and that you're going to make this easy on them, and you'll impress them, and you'll get referrals from those attorneys for sure.
Right. Well, actually,
makes sense.
I do get quite a few folks on the phone that say that they have not had their hearing date. That I've had just last week making calls. They said, I've got my court date set for Thursday, just in a day or two. So I've actually had quite a few that way. So maybe that's maybe there's a delay in the hearing date from when they actually file.
Yeah, so you're number 3. I mean, we had the other 2 were in California that I've heard this from, and you're in Texas. So there may be some jurisdictions that are just behind. Maybe for whatever reason, government's government, right? So it just could be in most of our markets. And personally, I've never had one that wasn't already approved. But Virginia kind of has an express lane for the process. But it's probably just a matter of the courts being behind in your jurisdiction.
Right. Okay. Well, that helps. Thank you.
Anything else, sir?
I think that's it. I have another question. I think that's it for now.
All right. Excellent. Thanks for participating. Next up is phone number ending in 2019. You're up next.
Yes. Is there a list of items for service that we can go by? Do you have like a list of items on
you talk about
website?
the team, the list of the team
Yes.
that you should put together?
Yes.
Okay. Are you a subscriber?
Yes, I am. I'm
okay. Okay, great. No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm sure Chad could tell you where to find that.
So we covered in Fast Track, and really, I mean, the list is ever growing. So the best thing you can do is just understand, what could the needs be. So they need to get a house cleaned out. They need to get a house fixed up. They need to get, a estate plan. They need to find suitable housing for surviving family members. Like, you kind of think about their situation, and it'll help you understand who your team needs to be. The most common team members we point you to are, estate sale companies, clean out crews, contractors, nursing home employees, probate attorneys, estate planning attorneys, senior moving companies, like anyone who could help remove stress from their situation in that time of transition. We don't have, in Probate Mastery, we break this down and I'll show you exactly why you need that team member and where you can find them. But it's and we talk about it a lot on these calls, but there's not a list that per se that we can just send you a list.
Chad, which of the Fast Track videos do you cover that in? Do you remember offhand?
I think that's it. I think it's in number 2.
So watch the Fast Track video number 2 again. And there was a lot of background noise. I had to mute you out, caller, but you're open again. Does that help, or do you have any follow-up questions?
That helps. I'll go to Fast Track too. I listened at all of Fast Track, but evidently I missed that, and so I'll go back to it. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Next up is phone number ending in 1660. You're up next.
Hey, guys. I guess I'm becoming a regular caller here, but real quick, to kind of add to a couple of the questions that have been answered or asked about, you being the hub and one of those arms, and I guess I'm just trying to sell my, what I do, but I also do real estate. But don't forget that there's lots of auctioneers that about 90% of us do estate work, and
True.
And we are also all licensed in probably about 80% of the states in the United States. So if you want to add that, all you have to do is go to auctionzip.com and you'll find a local auctioneer. And every one of us is doing liquidations. We're all doing estate sales. And we can get it done a lot faster and a lot quicker. When we have an auction, your property will be cleaner because it will be, instead of selling about half of the items, we'll sell probably 90 to 95% of those items. So just food for thought on, another arm to your wheel there. And you could easily find that at auctionzip.com. Question I have, and I apologize, I was just trying to go on my high horse there. One of the questions I have is that, and I'll get off the phone and listen. I'm actually on my I'm actually getting ready to send out my second letter. Because I'm on the automatic deal, can I do it through y'all, or do I have to do I have to do the second letter on my own? And that's my
So,
question.
when you, I'm trying to understand. So did we do your first letter?
Yes, I'm on the automatic deal. So,
Mailbox
Okay.
motivator.
So then the system, like when you place your order, if you set up a sequence, did you set up a sequence of more than one letter or just one letter?
I don't know. I'll have to check into that.
Okay. So if you the way it's intended to be used, if you go ahead and set up like a 3-touch sequence and then click autopilot, you don't have to do anything. We'll handle it from there. So on letter 2, we will mail everybody from that list that has not been opted out by you. So if you go into the option status tab and click exclude from mail, they won't get a letter, but everybody else will. And you don't have to place the mail order. You just need to make sure your CRM is updated so we're not mailing to the ones you don't want us to.
Okay. Well, I'm also doing the auto dialer with y'all, and I had a lot of confusion with that because I hadn't realized what was going on to that. Finally, Brandon was able to get a hold of me, and we cleared up some things. But so since they've already made that and narrowed my list down, shouldn't that already be in there?
Yep. So anyone they spoke to that wasn't interested or had already sold, they will go in and actually opt them out and put the notes in. So since you're using the full automated service, there's really nothing you need to do other than go on the appointments. If you want us to go ahead and check and make sure that your sequence is set up properly, you can email support at all the leads, and someone will take a look at your campaign sequence and let you know that it looks good or it's what you're expecting.
Yeah, and I asked him to do that anyway. I mean, it sounds like maybe there's a little bit of uncertainty here, and we want to make sure we're getting this dialed in perfectly for it. So if you'll just drop us a quick line to support@allleads.com, we'll jump right in there and take a look. And if anything needs to be changed, we'll give you a buzz back.
Okay. Well, we had some issues with
this is
my
Lucky,
software.
right?
Yeah, this is Lucky. We had some issues with my software, and I think they got it fixed. I mean, I just didn't know if because I guess, like, right now, I'm ready to send out my second letter. Now, I did get an email today saying that I had new leads, but I'm assuming since I'm on auto, everything, they would just take care of that.
Yeah.
That's correct. I just want to make sure it's set up right.
Okay. All right, that's all I had. Thank you, guys.
And Lucky, thanks for the plug for auction companies. Nothing wrong with that at all. It is definitely a viable member of your team. It's kind of a good in-between option for someone that doesn't want to take a big discount, but it doesn't want to wait, 4 months to sell the property. So the auction route is a great solution for a lot of people, and that's something everybody should have.
Some people say, well, auctions, I'm going to lose money. We had an auction, an estate auction that we're still working on. We did this last weekend. It's a 4-part estate auction. We figured it would do anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000. The estate the first part of it brought $34,000 this last weekend. So.
And Lucky, just a clarifying question. I know you're a realtor also, but if a realtor were to call and hire you to do an auction, I'm assuming they would still get their commission, correct?
Oh, definitely. And we every situation's different. Some guys ask me for a referral, I'll pay a referral. Some guys are just being, need me to be part of their arm. I'll send them a gift card for $100 to a local restaurant. I mean, it's all on how you want to do it. But
perfect.
It's another source of income. So.
Thank you very much. We got 5 more in the queue, guys. Great participation. Next up is phone number ending in 6031. You're up next.
And that would be Russell. How are you?
Great, Russell. How are you doing?
I am fine. So a couple of questions. One, Chad, you were talking about how long some of these leads take to mature, 8, 10, 12 months out. So beyond continuing to stay in touch by phone, do you do a subsequent round of mailers to leads or not?
I should have, but I didn't. do as I say, not as I do, Russell.
It's a best practices question, not a what you did question.
Yeah, I mean, if your budget, like if you have the budget to market for 12 months, market for 12 months, and you may even consider dropping down to like a postcard because you can do that at half the cost of a letter. It's not as effective as a letter, but you can send 3 postcards for what you can send 1 letter. So if you know, you got to look at your budget, and you know, the fact that we have the autopilot can make this extremely easy. You can set up a 12-month sequence and never have to manage all those mail pieces. So if you're doing it all manually, at the end of 12 months, you know, you would have 144 mail pieces swirling around, and nobody would know what was happening.
Yeah, no, we're doing it ourselves, and I mean, I actually think you know what I've developed, because I think we talked about it, but it's 7 mailers over 8 mailers over 75 days, and 3 of those are postcards. So I guess for the subsequent mailers, I could just, you know, wait a couple of months and then start sending the postcards again.
Yeah. So one of the big reasons we use, there's two real reasons we use a greeting card envelope. One is it gets opened because it looks like a greeting card, and that you pretty much have 100% open rates on those. The other is they tend to stick around. For whatever reason, they don't end up in the trash as quickly as business mail. And even though I only sent 3 letters, those letters hung around. So it was, had I done a better job at follow up, I could have probably tripled what I you know, produced. But the come list me's, for me, I give a lot of the credit to the style of mail we were sending. Those
no, actually, yeah, I'm sending 3 letters in invitation formatted envelopes.
So the point I'm making is, you know, don't kill yourself. You may not need to go that far, because even with just sending 3 letters, a lot of us get those distant, you know, come listings.
Okay. My next question, you know, I've played around a lot with the script, and let me basically just tell you what, you know, the opening of my script is, and you tell me whether you think it's too direct. It says, "I'm glad I could reach you because we specialize in probated property dispositions. Tell me, is there any real estate within the estate that eventually needs to be dealt with?" Is that too direct in your mind? Should I go with a more, how shall I say, soft soap approach that you've mentioned any number of times?
Well, I'll go back to our conversation a few weeks ago. You guys said you were getting shut down. You had your one of your staff on the phone. You said you're getting shut down and didn't have an opportunity to speak. So I'll put that back at you. How's it working compared to the script you were using 3 or 4 weeks ago?
Don't know yet, because we had really put calls on hold while we got all of our new marketing out the door. So we're just starting to call behind all the new marketing pieces. So I don't know the answer yet.
I'll give you my opinion of what you're going to experience. So in really competitive markets, the reason I harp all the time and say focus on people and situation, and then find a way into real estate. It's if they're getting calls from investor after investor, or they've formed this impression that people are trying to steal the house or take advantage, then if you go right for the real estate, it tends to rip the scab off that, you know, from the last guy that called. So that's why I lighten the conversation and kind of speak from the hub of the wheel, not from the spoke that you're trying to monetize. And it's the more general approach of, hey, listen, we've built a team of people here locally in Northern Virginia that focus on helping people in your situation. What's been the toughest thing for you guys so far? Or if there's any one thing you could delegate, what would that be? And then once they engage at whatever level, if they start talking to you, then you can say, okay, well, listen, one of the biggest parts of our service is real estate brokerage, because we realize most families find it really important to get the most out of the property so they can settle the rest of the estate. And it's only about 80% of the people, but, you know, do you guys have real estate that you need to deal with, and do you have a plan for that? And that's the segue. So you show them that you're calling to talk about their overall situation, and you're very empathetic, and then you give them a reason, and then narrow it down to real estate as the first order of business.
Do you refer to any of your print pieces in your phone script? I don't have it in front of me, so sorry.
Yeah, so that's typically how I find it. It's a warmer reception when I have a reason to be calling, like a small reason. So, hey, this is Chad. I sent you a letter last week and I had a couple minutes at my desk. I just wanted to follow up and make sure you got it and you understood why we sent it. You remember seeing that? And a lot of times they'll say no, because they kind of have, they have blinders on. They've gotten a bunch of mail. They're dealing with all these different things in their own life. So if they say no, just like, hey, no worries. You even better, you got me on the phone. And then go right into the conversation. Don't try to, if they try to take you down the rabbit hole, well, which letter was it? Well, what did that letter say? Don't engage with that stuff. Just deflect it and get back, control your conversation.
Okay. And final question for my reference and my reference for my ISA's calling. For when you're calling leads, and I'm not talking about attorney leads, but the probate leads themselves, what is your internal contact rate with when your ISAs are calling the probate leads?
We're contacting about 83%. We're leaving voice, and we're not reaching 5%, and we leave voicemail for the rest.
Okay, so you're having conversations with 83% of the leads.
Yeah.
Okay. And you are leaving voicemails?
Unless instructed otherwise, we do. Our default position is to leave a voicemail. And what we do is we leave the campaign open for 48 hours to receive inbound calls before we put anything in your CRM and close the campaign.
Okay, and is there a voicemail script somewhere on the site?
It's in Fast Track 3. It's really simple. Hey, this is Russell. Sent your letter last week. Had a couple minutes at my desk. Wanted to make sure you got it and you understood why I sent it. Give me a call. And you don't title yourself. Don't try to sell anything. The only thing you're doing is trying to get the phone to ring. So you want to leave as much curiosity in the air as you can. So just be Russell and just follow up and make sure they understood why you were reaching out, and then get off the phone.
And do you leave the voicemail the first time you don't get a hold of them, or do you wait a certain number of calls before you do that?
That really depends on your call frequency. So if you guys are calling every day until you reach them, don't leave voicemail. If you're calling once a month, leave voicemail every time.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right. Appreciate it. Great participation. We got 3 more people in the queue, and then that'll take us right up on the hour. Next up is phone number ending in 1838. You're up next.
Hey, fellas, how you doing?
Great. How about you?
All right. My name's Andre, and so I have a few questions, and I'll start with this. So yesterday, I listened to your watched your probate crash course, and just to give you a little background on my own investing activities, I send out about 3 letters, a letter a month, and then 2 postcards following the letters I send out. But when I was watching your probate crash course, something jumped out at me that I haven't been doing, and wanted to know if this puts me at a disadvantage, which is you're calling the prospects after each mail piece you send out to them. Am I at a disadvantage by just sending the letters and waiting for them to call me back, or wait for them to reach out?
So you're at a huge disadvantage. So I'll go back to the last caller, the question he asked, what is our contact rate on the phone? We're speaking to 83% of the people. So if you send out 100 letters, how many people do you speak to?
To be honest, the response I get back from people are people that want me to take them off my mail campaign. Mostly.
Right. So a really good direct mail campaign is going to have about 2% inbound response, and that's if you're rocking it. But the phone campaign in tandem. Now, the letter is not it's not to say the letter's not effective. The letter is a good way to introduce yourself. The phone call is where the business happens. So yes, and especially because you're playing in the investor space, the disadvantage is you're doing the same thing as everyone else, right? And what we find, even in we've got a kid in Manhattan. He's a new agent, just breaking into that market, and that's one of the most competitive red ocean markets in the country. And the reason, one of his biggest reasons for success, I'd say number 1 is mindset, but number 2 is he gets on the phone. And he was able to break into a market where everyone told us it couldn't be done. It doesn't work. I'm quitting. And we've got another guy in San Diego, same story. People are getting 50 letters. He's still sending his letter, but he's getting on the phone, and he's gotten like immediate results. Like first round of the campaign, 3 listings, and a median price of $800,000 or $900,000 probably. So it's a huge advantage to have good phone numbers. And as I said earlier in this call, most people who are skip tracing on their own are using a service like Spokio or Intellius. And a lot of times they're coming up with disconnected landlines from an old phone book. Like they're just numbers that are loosely associated with that person's name. We have spent a considerable amount of time and effort and money to get to the level of accuracy we are in our phone numbers. So that gives you a huge advantage.
Well, I will say one thing that I do that probably helps me in that department is I actually go down to the courthouse myself and pull the information off these of the probate files. And if the phone number is bad, that's right there on the record. That's when I do a skip trace. But again, I really haven't gotten into calling these prospects. I've been relying on my mail pieces, most of which are handwritten. The envelopes are handwritten. The letter I make on my own. But you mentioned, I heard you mention earlier that you have a higher response rate with your greeting cards. Am I at another disadvantage there? Should I be doing greeting cards versus my letters with handwritten envelopes?
Well, what kind of envelope are you using for your letter?
Just your standard number 10 envelope. Handwrite.
So stop that today. I have wasted literally thousands of dollars trying different colors, different shapes, and when I finally settled in on a greeting card and decided that I would eat that extra expense, my mail campaigns consistently worked. So the handwritten part of it is really good. Like that's very effective. So don't stop doing that. But go get yourself some Alpha 8 envelopes, greeting card envelopes. And instead of folding the paper twice, you just fold it once and you just fold it in half and stick it in. So it'll make your job easier. The envelopes are going to be a little more expensive, but they actually work. It's worth the extra cost. So unless you're making your letter look very businesslike, some people have done like a graphic on the front of like the docket number, like RE docket number 34579, and that trick can sometimes work. But if you're fulfilling your own mail, the best chance for you is just go get some greeting card or invitation envelopes and switch it to that. But I would leave your handwritten letter alone because that's going to stand out. It's different.
Okay. All right. I think that's it. So let me ask you.
Give me a call after the call. We'll make it a whole lot easier. Just do it all for you.
And see, that's my thing. I'm one of those do-it-yourselfers. And I follow. I follow loosely.
What kind of car do you drive?
I drive a Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Did you build it yourself?
No, I didn't build it myself. But I take care of it myself. I just changed the water pump. I just changed the water pump 2 weekends ago. Yeah, I mean.
All right. Well,
it comes down to the value of your time. Like if most people who do this consistently, it's easy for them to see value in what we do because they realize 90% of what it takes to run this campaign is not necessarily dollar productive activity. And that's why there's an opportunity for us to have this company, because we can automate through technology and staff. We can automate what takes away from your dollar productive time. But it doesn't work for everybody.
Well,
all right. Well, thank you, sir. Go ahead. Follow-up question. We got 2 more in the queue, but go ahead.
Okay. Well, it's not a question, just a quick statement. I'm one of those, old school guys who believes in technology, but I'm also a little fearful of it, that, if the internet were to go down one day, how do I continue doing this if the internet, was down for a week, a month, or something like that.
I mean, it's what happens if a meteor strikes your Jeep tomorrow? Is there a contingency plan for that?
No contingency plan.
So I mean, we don't have. I mean, we have had downtime, but it's measured in seconds, not even hours. So it's something we take very seriously, and we've designed our technology, and it lives in places that are secure and safe, and that's one of our number one concerns. So it's unlikely that will ever happen. If it does, we'll have a contingency plan.
Well, I have been following you,
all right.
So I look a little bit more into this. I look a little bit more on your website because I have been following you all for a while.
All right, well, thank you. Two more in the queue, guys. We are going to, as usual, run a little bit over today, but let's get to the last two callers. Phone number ending in 6911. You're up next. 6911, can you hear us? Hello?
Yes. Hello?
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you now. Thank you.
Hi. My name's Ben, and my partner Joe. We've been with you guys for some time now, and we absolutely love the service. We just wanted to, put in a good word over there.
Oh, thank you. Well, I appreciate that.
Thank you, guys.
Anything specific we can help you with today?
No. I just wanted to give a nice compliment.
Well, thanks for the compliment, and thanks for the short call. You can come back anytime if you ever do need help. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. How long have you been? I'm curious. How long have you been with us?
We've been close to 2 years now.
2 years.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, you're holding back. Let's hear the success stories.
Who's that? Chad?
It's Chad.
Hey, I tell you, before we came to you guys, we weren't making a living. Then you guys basically really gave us great leads and taught us, basically held our hand and as far as implementing them. And now we're closing something like, several tens of houses a year. And no doubt, all my leads is the way to go.
Well, thank you. What have you ever figured your rate of return on your total investment that you've spent? What kind of an ROI are you getting?
Well, what I like about real estate is you could be as dumb as a doorknob and still make a lot of money.
There you go.
I can't even spell rate of return, yet I'm buying tens of houses. You know what I'm saying?
That's awesome. Thank you so much. We
All
appreciate
right,
the comment. Now
thank
we
you.
got three. We got three in the queue, guys. And I really appreciate all your calls. Anybody else? Let's hold it over till next week, and let's go ahead and jump on the last three for this week. Next up is phone number ending in 8401.
Hey guys, this is Tony. I talked to you guys yesterday on the webinar you guys had.
Yes, sir.
Have a couple questions for you, and I'll make them quick.
Sure.
How exclusive are the leads from each county that you guys get?
Yeah, every county, we don't sell them to 10 agents per market. In most counties, depending on the number of leads and the demographics of the county, we limit it somewhere between 3 and 5 subscribers per county. In most counties, we don't sell it more than 3 times.
Okay. So what about the phone services? How many subscribers per county for that?
We'll only do that for one person, and it's not that we couldn't do it for more. We just didn't feel ethically that it was right for the same people to be calling for 2 different agents in the same market. So, I wish we could. We do have a lot of people on wait lists, but
right.
and I promise you, go on the wait list. Somebody will eventually drop off, but for now, the ISAs, and it'll probably always be that way. The ISA service that we offer is 1 per market, 1 per county. That doesn't mean you couldn't. We had a call this morning, and Chad was reaching out to the guy to try to walk him through setting up his own ISA service. Doesn't mean you couldn't do it yourself. But
right.
And if you're curious whether your county's available or not, just give me a call right after this call, and I'll let you know.
It's
okay,
also important to know that we don't limit the mail that we do. In other words, we have multiple people in the same county doing mail. What we do is we make sure that each letter that goes out is done individually and completely uniquely, so that if you're sending out a letter and someone else is sending out a letter, your content, their content are not the same, and they don't look the same, and we vary the envelopes as well so they don't get, 3 of the same envelope with the same content every day. We make sure it's all unique, and our people are careful about doing that. So the mailing program you can do, but we do limit the ISA to 1 per county.
Okay, so when I give you a call and you let me know how many, how exclusive the leads are, can you tell me as well how many subscribers you may have for a particular area before I enroll in that area?
We are an open book. Give me a call. My direct number is 954-281-4264. Give me a call right after this call.
I sure will. Thanks.
All right, 2 more in the queue, guys, and I am going to cut it off at that. Darcy, you're up next. Phone number ending in 7880.
Hi, my name is Darcy. I just was following up from last week's call. I spoke with an attorney, and he said he is going to send me some referrals, which was good. So I went to his office, and we talked about it for about an hour, about wills and so on and so forth. So I gave him my cards. I'll follow up with him. And then I had an attorney call me today who was from another county, and he said he gave me his email address and for me to send my information over to him. So I thought that was pretty good.
Good for you.
That's
Darcy,
great.
Forgive me, I always tease you a little bit. A month ago, you just started with us a month ago. Everybody was being mean. Nobody wanted to talk to you, and they all hated you.
Well, they're still mean, but I'm overcoming it. A lot of them are still mean, but I'm just plugging along with it.
Yeah, you didn't give up. You hung in there, and you're giving us success stories every week. So we appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Bye.
All right, last up this week is phone number ending in 5923. You're up last.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. I'm Jeff. I'm out in Silicon Valley. I just wanted to ask you, when is the next Probate Mastery class? I kind of found you guys just recently, and I didn't know what else to do, so I signed up for that. And I'm wondering when that might be scheduled.
Well, I just got back from a trip where I had bad internet, so I wasn't able to use the webinar platform. I was shooting for next week, but my father has to go in for heart surgery, so I have to figure out how long I will be out of pocket for that before I can schedule. But within as soon as possible, and hopefully within the next week or so. And
okay.
Did you say you had already signed up?
Yes.
You should have seen the recordings from the last session. Did you get those from me?
Yeah. I'm listening to those for a second time now. So.
Okay. Yeah, and I apologize. I mean, a lot of people are waiting on me, and I just haven't been able to. It's important to me that I have consistent, quiet space and fast internet because I've had bad experiences in the middle of classes before. So I'm kind of picky about making sure I can deliver for you guys live. So I'll as soon as I can get it scheduled in, you'll see an email and I'll register you.
Okay, very good. I just want to say, Chad, I found you guys kind of just by chance, looking for probate information online, and I just listening to the video or the stuff on YouTube. I really like the place that you're coming from. So that's what attracted me to you guys, and I kind of like what I see so far.
Well, thanks for
Awesome.
saying so, man. That means a lot.
Yep, means a lot to all of us. Thank you, guys. Great way to close the call out this week. As y'all know, if you've been here before, I always like to end these calls the same way. First of all, thank all of you for taking an hour and 10 minutes out of your day to be here. And I want to challenge each and every one of you. We had some great thoughts, some great stories, some great examples on this call. I challenge everybody, take one thing that you learned or you heard on this call, go out and put it into practice, and come back and report your results to the group next Thursday. Thank you so much, guys. Make it a great week. We will talk to you same time next Thursday. Take care.